Mayam Komzari Impact News ki Manu Mayam Tram Noksari. Manipur nga ki cabinet decision naman na Manipur ki Singi Marakta kay secret site aduga historical background laiba aduga Manipuri puari ga yam naksin na badung na ba Imphal Mayon da laiba Imphal West District laiba Singa Makak Reserve Forest oina lauthok re hari bas Ching du di Heibok Singi range laiba Heibok Sing se Reserve Forest oina lauthok pani Indian Forest Act Section 4 of Indian Forest Act 1927 ni matu ina hari ba Heibok Sing asi Reserve Forest oina lauthok pani do Heibok Sing si Kanchipur ki area Manipur University laiba area si de horakanda hiang thang aduga lilong chajing area phaupa santholi ba range si kadai de na kadai phaubo no haiba makti ku chapsana tangdang badi khangdraga su hariba range si saruk singda layam pham sing asi Reserve Forest oina lauthorapani maruina masida khoi gi Manipur ki Reserve Forest ki laiba total laiba si koi geographical area 77.20% di koi hill oina aduga forest area oin leiraga su 8.42% di reserve forest oi si khaktan lai aduga 23.95% na protected forest oina leiraga anda remaining sina unclassified forest oina thamani aduna Manipur ki aduga prithvi oina global warming aduga tongan bai environmental process mayam sida hariba sing aduga hariba forest ki land sing asi kandaba yadabe du khongthang amoina paikhat pagi wafam dani adubu Nasi laiba wafam di Heibok Sing si puari sagona ba yang thang lairembi aduga Manipur ki history da yauraba nabul turen chentherak lipa aduga tongan ba khoi langthabal ki konung laiba scheduled tribe ki area laiba maroina scheduled tribe khoi kabui jati jelarong jati na khunda pa amaromda maitai amadi maitai pangal sing su hariba sing si koi ba singta sangjafam lauduna laiba hingliba maram oirakanda masigi tungda Reserve Forest oina lauthokra tungda kana na kaidor kadage natraga madugi hinnabi lambi natraga madu and cross torome hai taraga di kari film lakpa yabagi hai matangda Heibok Sing is Reserve Forest have topics the kana na tempe news ki studio the election biri se hek thangna election se ja Ganesh Nagaranjan IWS DFO Central ni ham the Ganesh pu taram welcome to show aduga may election biri baza Ram Wangkhai rakpam environmental activist ni uzaram besu taram noksari loina matai thang thang sibir bazar ku kumuksam editor Imphal Times bazar ku taram noksari ai aham se Ganesh ta thamjake
how ki be chahi kari sida akoi unclass forest sida not just Heibok Ching direct atopa Ching mole hills akoi macha Ching macha do adugi macha Ching da yu yan ba Ching lepak potpa aduga encroachment to maya mama chakari akoi si unclass forest oiba matamda oiba baramda case lokat no yaroi Indian Forest Act 1927 apply to yaroi except for hill excavation asigumba aina yaudaba Heibok Sing chattari taudana laki government na masigi damak sarkar na Heibok Sing gi araf oina bagi damak ordinary akoi tongan bagi problem yam le global warming adun hai adugi water conservation so yam soil erosion in the problem in lake so in this response to the anthropological pressure let us say on the forests of the valley or the hills this particular parcel of land was actually we have been trying for the last 7-8 years. Government was also trying for the last 7-8 years to convert it into a reserve forest. So that was the decision taken in the cabinet to have a safe and good environment around the Imphal, so that the microclimate is also not. Yes, you might be knowing that last 2 years before there was a massive encroachment removal eviction drive which has happened in Vaito. Apart from that, I was DFO Tobal in 2018. From that time onwards, we have had more than 50 to 100 cases in that year itself, and we have been last around 6-7 years. We have been filing so many cases. We have been arresting so many people. There are pressure. We know that the one biggest issue with respect to the Valley district is that we do not have a demarcated mining zone where people can, because if you see there should be a balance between development and environment conservation. So. Having said that, we are also on the basis of lagi matungi na koi loinamak case to tore. But having said that, we need to see where we can identify some particular location so that this mining can be allowed in particular by a regulated way. So that because of this huge demand for construction purposes and other purposes, these are the dynamic challenges which we face.
Yes.
but two main issues I know uda. One, reserve forest law bagi matang da conflicts people ka conflict lai bisi mafam anywhere dum lai re si Manipur kano da Manipuri yang mamatang particularly valley ge adjoining areas sidais da mall hills lai re aduga se Pumlen Park ki nakan da lai ba Ching mayam da su lot of conflict edi hana lairam ba mi kona lak pa mi adaina adigi maron su lai hibaga loina na madu mayam dagi land settlement nama adugi conflicts ama lai re aduna ada lai bisi hujiki sidasu ai sigi area se laiba mamang da su mi khana bi khona gi begi case khar lai aduna adugi conflict si kamaina resolve ta wadagi hazi land settlement moi officer leram gani in khan land settlement officer to ga long process of hujiki manung da taram mayam sigi khoi forest kan da forest rights act ki matung ina di moi gi ada leram mi sing se certain area 4 hectare gumba moi si allot tawraga moi si lehan bagi process ama lei aduma ai adugi kamaina adugi sales kamaina leibino khong de forest department ga the main issue I wakal the main issue forest reserve forest ki issue the reserve forest igi purpose so like sacred grove maintain to wa ngak sacredness of the site hairi whether reserve forest is the right legal category for protecting a sacred site. I'm not clear on that. Haibidi adugi right tools oibro oidabra khangde kaino da oidaba mali kaino da umang lai gumba leiriba valley da umang lai mayam leiba like kai khudingi almost umang lai lei adun da bas sacred sites mayam lei madugi legal category ma dakar leibra because reserve forest the purpose though why this particular area masi mafam area si reserve forest lautho isi kari gino is there a separate legal category which is siga lamdam siga chanaba akoi lekai da kana umang lai leba adi mafam umang lai mayam lai neba madu mayam su hujiki Ching matok to matek to hadana tana sacred site mayam mama how do we protect it because these are all small macha forest area macha neba pulap lai tragasu lekai khudingi lerak pandraga lekai animu gi punjalaga leiba forest mayam is there a legal category can there be a legal category Heibok question ama aduga aduma ani subada reserve forest na environmental climate change and ado pa mayam water reservoir water as a water gi mogi tungna poini koni ka haise as far as I know ubudadi the protected forests are the least protected forest the least protected area aina across some chatli yeng bioba monoculture gum masu am thai duga toraga masi khwaidagi kano da control leitaba community forest na it's a much more well protected forest oiga level India the assessment there are many assessments around that aduna whether the purpose high at least covered up I haven't seen the legal official document but whether reserve forest ma lauthoga whether magi purpose to sasing protect whether tawraidra and whether is whether that legal category reserve forest hariba legal category is it really the category which can magi hujiki hariba preserve reserve protect the wangam badra haiba it's very questionable no not only that sacred sites hariba se adu chanai chan des I'm doubtful haidi I think maybe the forest department can explain on that.
So the sacred site ki Heibok sing hai si dum hayang thangi asoba Manipuri puari sagona ba hi thang ba mafam ne hayang thang tholaki bani aduga hojik su Manipur University ki lari mafam si langthawal gi konung oiramba Manipur gi gambir singai matan do konung oiramba sacred place amni hai tare historical monument ki bakada protect torum gane khali sagi area se do hojik army le charga lai hai tare asisu yaudabra haibdi matongan wafam warakanda range area di forest sing Heibok sing area di to boidi aduga akoi bada kabui snaw sing tari aduga akoi bada muslim snaw sing tari akoi bada maiti snaw sing tari naning kon sing gi whole area do manung do kul taraga leiri hai tari aduna masida reserve forest ni haiduna reserve toroga thamgi targa di madu sang ba yaba madu gi rules ki matung logi matung tawhi ba targa di ado ai de leiriba mem villagers singi right hai tari ado ai de khara solo pakra leiga dai ba wafam ni kamai wi mi ngila
Hamada Kogi ꯂꯥꯎꯊꯣꯛꯄꯤꯔꯤꯕ ꯍꯩꯕꯣꯛꯆꯤꯡꯁꯤ ꯔꯤꯖꯥꯔꯚ ꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁꯅꯤ ꯍꯥꯏꯔꯤꯁꯤ ꯔꯤꯚꯦꯅ꯭ꯌꯨ ꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯔꯤꯚꯦꯅ꯭ꯌꯨ ꯚꯤꯂꯦꯖ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯕꯗꯒꯤ ꯂꯥꯎꯊꯣꯔꯛꯄꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯔꯤꯚꯦꯅ꯭ꯌꯨ ꯚꯤꯂꯦꯖ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯉꯩ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯃꯗꯨꯗꯩꯗꯨꯗ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟꯕ ꯀꯝꯃꯨꯅꯤꯇꯤꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯃꯥꯒꯤ ꯂꯝ ꯂꯩꯔꯒ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒꯅ ꯇꯥꯁꯜꯂꯒ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯑꯣꯀꯨꯄꯥꯏ ꯇꯧꯁꯜꯂꯒ ꯏꯂꯤꯒꯦꯜ ꯑꯣꯔ ꯂꯤꯒꯦꯜꯂꯤ ꯑꯦꯅꯤꯃꯦꯜ ꯁꯤꯖꯤꯟꯅꯔꯒ ꯇꯥꯕꯒꯤ ꯃꯃꯤꯁꯤ ꯑꯁ꯭ꯋꯥꯏ ꯑꯦꯔꯤꯌꯥꯁꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯍꯥꯟꯅꯗꯒꯤ ꯎꯔ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯦ ꯀꯨꯏꯗꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯉꯁꯤꯗꯒꯤꯅ ꯆꯍꯤ 3-4ꯒꯤ ꯃꯃꯥꯡꯗꯁꯨ ꯍꯩꯕꯣꯛꯆꯤꯡꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯛꯇꯛꯇ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯃꯤ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯁꯤ ꯇꯥꯁꯜꯂꯛꯄꯗꯒꯤ ꯎ ꯀꯛꯄ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯂꯥꯏꯒꯤ ꯊꯧꯔꯝ ꯇꯧꯕꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯃꯩꯇꯩ ꯄꯤꯄꯜꯁ ꯑꯣꯔ ꯏꯟꯗꯤꯖꯤꯅꯁ ꯑꯇꯩ ꯍꯤꯜ ꯄꯤꯄꯜꯁꯤꯡꯁꯨ ꯑꯗꯨꯉꯥꯏꯔꯦ ꯍꯥꯟꯅ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯒꯤ ꯑꯇꯣꯞꯄ ꯂꯥꯏꯅꯤꯡꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤ ꯂꯥꯛꯇ꯭ꯔꯤꯉꯩ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁ ꯋꯥꯔꯁꯤꯄꯔꯅꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯑꯦꯟꯁꯦꯁꯇꯔ ꯋꯥꯔꯁꯤꯄꯔꯅꯦ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤ ꯂꯥꯏꯗꯧꯅ ꯈꯜꯂꯒ ꯂꯥꯛꯄ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯃꯐꯝꯁꯤ ꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯒ ꯑꯗꯨꯝ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯣꯇꯦꯛ ꯇꯧꯔꯒ ꯂꯩꯖꯔꯝꯃꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯩꯗꯨꯗ ꯃꯁꯤꯗꯩꯁꯤꯗ ꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯅ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯔꯤꯖꯥꯔꯚ ꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯂꯥꯎꯊꯣꯔꯛꯄ ꯃꯇꯝꯁꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯉꯛꯏꯁꯤ ꯃꯁꯤ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯃꯔꯝꯒꯤ ꯂꯥꯎꯊꯣꯔꯛꯏꯕꯅꯣ ꯋꯥꯏ ꯍꯩꯕꯣꯛꯆꯤꯡ ꯍꯦꯁ ꯕꯤꯟ ꯑꯦꯅꯥꯎꯟꯁ ꯑꯦꯁ ꯗꯤꯀ꯭ꯂꯦꯌꯔ ꯑꯦꯁ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯀꯣ ꯔꯤꯖꯥꯔꯚ ꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯃꯔꯝꯒꯤꯅꯣ ꯁꯤꯅꯦꯕ ꯑꯩꯉꯣꯟꯗ ꯈꯤꯇꯪ ꯆꯃꯝꯅꯔꯤꯁꯦ ꯀꯩꯒꯤꯅꯣꯕꯗ ꯃꯣꯏꯗ ꯑꯀꯤꯕ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯩꯔꯕ꯭ꯔꯥ ꯀꯩꯒꯤꯅꯣꯕꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯒ꯭ꯔꯥꯎꯟ ꯔꯤꯌꯦꯂꯤꯇꯤꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯆꯠꯄ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯐꯣꯔꯒꯦꯠ ꯑꯕꯥꯎꯠ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛꯀꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯂꯥꯞꯅ ꯌꯦꯡꯕ ꯆꯥꯎꯇꯛꯅ ꯌꯦꯡꯉꯤꯕ ꯄꯣꯠꯁꯦ ꯇꯣꯛꯊꯣꯛꯑꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯌꯦꯡꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯀꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯒꯦꯗ ꯑꯩꯗꯤ ꯏꯁꯥ ꯆꯠꯂꯨꯔꯦꯕ ꯃꯐꯝꯁꯦ ꯆꯪꯉꯨꯔꯦꯕ ꯃꯐꯝꯁꯦ ꯆꯪꯉꯨꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯑꯍꯥꯟꯕ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯌꯨꯅꯤꯚꯔꯁꯤꯇꯤꯗ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯉꯩ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯕ ꯌꯨꯝ ꯃꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯗꯨꯋꯥꯏꯗ ꯇꯥꯔꯝꯕ ꯌꯨꯝ ꯃꯁꯤꯡ ꯃꯆꯥ ꯃꯌꯥꯝꯗꯨꯗꯒꯤꯗꯤ ꯀꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯇꯧꯒꯦꯗ ꯑꯀꯣꯝꯕ ꯆꯪꯕꯁꯤꯗ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯕꯁꯤꯅ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯤꯄꯜꯗ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯁꯦ ꯍꯥꯎꯁ ꯍꯣꯜꯁꯦ ꯇꯥꯏꯌꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯃꯐꯝꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯟꯅꯗꯒꯤ ꯂꯥꯏ ꯇꯤꯟꯒꯤ ꯃꯩꯇꯩꯒꯤꯁꯨ ꯌꯥꯝꯅ ꯃꯔꯨꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯃꯐꯝ ꯑꯣꯏꯕꯅ ꯂꯥꯏ ꯇꯤꯟ ꯈꯨꯔꯨꯝꯕꯒꯤ ꯂꯥꯏ ꯍꯔꯥꯎꯕꯒꯤ ꯆꯠꯄ ꯈꯣꯠꯄ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯇꯧꯋꯦꯕ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯃꯨꯁꯂꯤꯝꯁꯤꯡꯒꯤꯁꯨ ꯃꯗꯨ ꯆꯠꯄꯗ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯙꯔꯃꯗ ꯀꯥꯏꯕ ꯈꯣꯠꯄ ꯍꯥꯏꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯁꯤ ꯃꯩꯇꯩ ꯃꯨꯁꯂꯤꯝ ꯈ꯭ꯔꯤꯁꯇꯤꯌꯥꯟ ꯈꯥꯏꯗꯣꯛꯄꯒꯤ ꯋꯥꯐꯝ ꯁꯨꯡꯅꯠ ꯅꯠꯇꯦ ꯑꯩꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯖꯔꯤꯒꯤꯗꯤ ꯀꯝꯃꯨꯅꯤꯇꯤꯁꯤꯡꯗꯨꯅ ꯂꯥꯛꯄ ꯃꯇꯝꯗ ꯗꯤꯁꯇꯔꯕꯦꯟꯁ ꯄꯤꯕ ꯈꯣꯠꯄ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤꯗ ꯈꯠꯅꯕꯁꯤ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯇꯣꯏꯅ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯁꯤꯗ ꯍꯩꯕꯣꯛꯆꯤꯡꯁꯤꯗ ꯊꯣꯛꯇꯅ ꯊꯥꯡ ꯌꯥꯟꯅꯕ ꯊꯣꯛꯇꯅ ꯍꯩꯕꯣꯛꯆꯤꯡꯒꯤ ꯍꯥꯛꯇꯛꯁꯤꯗ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯂꯩꯈ꯭ꯔꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯁꯤꯗꯩꯁꯤꯗ ꯃꯩꯇꯩꯒꯤ ꯇꯣꯉꯥꯟꯕ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯌꯨꯠꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯏꯚꯟ ꯑꯩꯒꯤ ꯅ꯭ꯌꯨꯁꯄꯦꯄꯔꯁꯤꯗꯐꯥꯎꯗ ꯂꯥꯛꯑꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯁꯤ ꯋꯤ ꯑꯥꯔ ꯒꯣꯏꯡ ꯇꯨ ꯁꯦꯠ ꯑꯞ ꯑꯦ ꯕꯤꯛ ꯀꯩꯅꯣ ꯂꯥꯟꯃꯤ ꯑꯃ ꯁꯦꯝꯕ ꯆꯪꯉꯦ ꯀꯩꯒꯤꯅꯣ ꯍꯩꯕꯣꯛꯆꯤꯡ ꯀꯟꯅꯅꯕ ꯀꯥ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠꯐꯥꯎ ꯌꯥꯎꯔꯝꯃꯦꯕꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯎꯕꯗ ꯍꯩꯕꯣꯛꯆꯤꯡ ꯄꯨꯡꯀꯣꯛꯑꯦ ꯁꯤꯃꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯆꯦꯟꯅꯕ ꯌꯥꯔꯔꯣꯏ ꯍꯩꯕꯣꯛꯆꯤꯡꯗ ꯅꯠꯇ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯁꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯔꯕꯥꯟ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯅꯦ ꯄ꯭ꯂꯥꯟꯇꯦꯁꯟꯅꯦꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯤꯕ ꯑꯔꯕꯥꯟ ꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁ ꯃꯤꯖꯔꯁ ꯄꯨꯔꯥ ꯐ꯭ꯂꯣꯞꯅꯤ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛ ꯐꯦꯜꯅꯤ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯣꯇꯦꯛꯇꯦꯗ ꯑꯦꯔꯤꯌꯥ ꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁꯅꯦꯅ ꯇꯧꯔꯝꯕꯁꯤꯡꯗꯨ ꯍꯟꯗꯛꯇ ꯆꯤꯐ ꯃꯤꯅꯤꯁꯇꯔ ꯑꯦꯟ ꯕꯤꯔꯦꯟ ꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯄꯨꯊꯣꯔꯛꯄꯗ ꯂꯣꯏꯅ ꯌꯨꯝ ꯇꯥꯁꯜ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯗꯅ ꯔꯤꯖꯥꯔꯚ ꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁ ꯃꯅꯨꯡꯗ ꯌꯨꯝ ꯇꯥꯁꯜ ꯂꯩꯔꯝꯕ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯃ ꯊꯦꯡꯅꯗꯅ ꯂꯥꯛꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏ ꯁꯤꯗ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯕ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤ ꯏꯁꯣꯏꯕ ꯃꯤꯒꯤꯅ ꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁꯁꯤ ꯐꯖꯅ ꯂꯩꯇꯕ ꯌꯥꯗꯦ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠ ꯑꯃꯈꯛꯇ ꯀꯟꯈꯠꯂꯛꯄ ꯂꯨ ꯅꯥꯟꯕ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯏꯟꯚꯥꯏꯔꯣꯟꯃꯦꯟ ꯐꯅꯅꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯔꯛꯄ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁ ꯗꯤꯄꯥꯔꯠꯃꯦꯟ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯕꯁꯤꯒꯤꯁꯨ ꯃꯥꯏ ꯆꯣꯞꯇꯅꯕ ꯃꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯇꯧꯅꯅꯕ ꯍꯣꯠꯅꯔꯛꯄꯁꯤꯡꯁꯦ ꯁꯝꯋꯦꯔ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯇ꯭ꯔꯦꯗꯤꯁꯅꯦꯜ ꯑꯣꯔ ꯀꯁꯇꯃꯔꯤ ꯑꯣꯔ whatever you call it ꯃꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯦꯛ ꯊꯨꯒꯥꯏꯔꯀꯥꯟꯗ ꯃꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯄꯣꯠꯁꯤꯡꯁꯦ ꯅꯝꯈꯥꯏꯌꯦꯕ ꯅꯝꯈꯥꯏꯔꯤꯁꯤꯡꯁꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯔꯣꯇꯦꯛ ꯇꯧꯅꯕ ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯁꯝ ꯀꯥꯏꯟ ꯑꯣꯐ stringent law ꯆꯪꯉꯦꯕ stringent law ꯑꯁꯤꯗꯤ ꯅꯪ classified forest ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯍꯥꯏꯇꯥꯔꯒꯗꯤ you cannot take up any case ꯍꯥꯏꯅ ꯍꯧꯖꯤꯛꯇ ꯍꯥꯏꯕꯤꯔꯤ if it is a reserve forest or protected forest then ꯄꯥꯡꯒꯟ ꯀꯟꯕ ꯈꯔꯗꯤ ꯂꯩꯔꯤꯗꯅ ꯑꯗꯨꯅ ꯑꯗꯨ ꯇꯧꯔꯛꯄ ꯌꯥꯅꯕꯗꯤ ꯃꯥꯜꯂꯤ but ꯂꯥꯎꯊꯣꯛꯈ꯭ꯔꯦ ꯋꯦꯜ ꯑꯦꯟ ꯒꯨꯗ ꯃꯤꯅꯤꯁꯇꯔꯤꯌꯦꯜ ꯇꯤꯝꯁꯦ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯊꯥꯒꯠꯂꯤ ꯆꯤꯐ ꯃꯤꯅꯤꯁꯇꯔꯅ ꯂꯨꯆꯤꯡꯕ ꯇꯤꯝꯁꯦ ꯂꯥꯎꯊꯣꯛꯈ꯭ꯔꯒ ꯊꯕꯛꯁꯦ ꯍꯦꯛ ꯇꯧꯗꯕꯁꯦ ꯁꯤꯃꯗꯤ it's very disappointing.
There is a lengthy procedure for this also. Now the cabinet decision has come yesterday. Adugi matungina now we need to notify under section 4. Notification hujiktu toktri will notify as soon as possible. And there is a timeline for this also. Once it is notified tora matumda where under section 4 notification toguduguni FSO amma forest settlement officer amma appoint toguduguni magi tabagdo as a revenue officer, like it's very much similar to what we do in revenue allotments and all, but we need to inquire into the rights which is already existed. For example, hana labor rights thing hak sing do that has to be encored and it has to be recorded. Adu it is properly quoted. It is the existence of the right, the nature of the right, and extent of the right that has to be recorded by the forest settlement officer. That means analyze hagdu record taguduguni, incur taguduguni, adugi hakki makhaldu adusu kanga taguni, adusu record taguduguni, adugi kaya yamna patok chokatle adusu record taguduguni. Record tagubu matamda, then there will be more claims. Then claims has to be taken by the forest settlement officer. Then it will be settled as if you will act as a civil court only. So civil court ki chammana adu magi court proceeding hoigaduguni. Adugi damak within 3 months after section 4 notification ta ahungi manungda claims lo namak lakaduguni. If somebody could not produce claims in 3 months, he has to explain why the delay is there. And then it has to come again, it has to be produced to FSO again. After that, there is an appeal period also. FSO has to decide upon the rights, he has to record the rights, he can set aside some areas also. And we know that it is already been, some of the areas are already been covered in CS Dark's 1960s survey. And there is one more survey in 2014 also. And some might have been given, some people might have been given Jamabandi or say the property has allocation might have been happened by proper this one. So these rights will be recorded by the forest settlement officer and a decision will be taken up. And after that there will be appeal period also for 3 months. Once the forest settlement gives his final judgment or whatever it is as a civil court, there will be another 3 months for appeal period. So once this appeal is also, there will be court separately hearing the verdicts of the FSO. And from that appeal again, if there is everything is finalized, there is no more appeal, further appeal, then only the section 20 notification will be there, after which it will be deemed as a final reserve forest. So there is a time period of around minimum 6 to 1 year it might take.
Reserve forest yes. Reserve forest once it cabinet of one adi process mo tawdre the mayam confusion cover the confusion
I want to appeal also
kano natte hojiki cabinet low wani reserve forest natri process yam watli process yam watli adu khatna ba khona ba court mayam lakhine ba adugi marak season eba question aina haning badi why haibu question duneba there have a purpose cover I haven't seen actual what is the reason to justification is the justification chumra chumdabra have question to never cabinet decision to chumi chum de I question to we want the appreciate to bodu kitang tuman rasin
no I'm not appreciating it. What I'm talking is that akoy masing ngamgadra ina hangbagi maramdi kai maram gina habta lot of problem happens sigi Heibok sing sigi matangda within various communities because of their ownership more claim to we them thang yana ba yaukre mi hana ba yaukre sinaba ba yaurumgadra ina khalleba ana sigi marak sida Heibok sing kanoina lauthoe ka habsida harau kangu community yaurumgani sig Heibok sing se zik reserve forest oina lauthoe sida harau kangu soidana yaurumni aduga somebody mi khradi yam saw young names not is how we only they will feel that our right has been settled, there has been moina long re koigi as moi in a thangi to re haibagi aduna sigi pon me am se hana akoigi da akoigi forest ki da khangdi any section da koina thabak to matam da akoigi lemho tahogda ba saruk amadi kamai thogena mi myam se awareness piraga koin tawdoi se sini gyan tana pibagi portion se sungaw yawdana hana decision ek loweba aduna maram oraga kyaw so le aduna Heibok sing gi si lauthoi si phattaba nate yam phawa pot si dai sida unnecessary lailo heramade akoi loina gyan loi taramade akoi kanam su khana roi nungsu loi nungsinani लाइक हेतबा दगी मीना तौरिसे अफबनी चौखटप से सीनी हेबगी रियल मीनिंग ऑफ सिविलाइजेशन खंगदबा अदुगुम कांगू से मयाम अमा अखोइद पैगे लेजे खंगना अदुगी खंग कांदा अदुदैदुदा एक तौगदबनी सिना अदुना अवेयरनेस सी याम तौबसी हेना याम दरका ओएबा दुगा मदुदा लैरिबा खना चैनबा थोइबा मयाम दुगी हाना ज्ञान ताहलबा मतुंगदने अखोइना फॉरेस्ट solution for plus umang onthokpase hojiki ko isi umang onthokpase moi me amno gyan ta halam matung da ne ba aduni da aina haijabadi
umang onthokpi matang se da ina that's why ai gi problem se di umang onthokpase reserve forest ki lauthoga umang onthokpasi chumra chumdabra haiba ma ngasai khanariba mayamdu reserve forest lautho khanaba phaduribra haiba ma haidi issue mayam leiba adigi environmental kannaba forest kannaba climate change ba adigi sacred site kannaba reserve forest na category pusalai se hatu pusalai se is madu chummi chumde hedune ba ini koina debate tawdi aduna aduna in forest department su adugi responsive pami ke no da aduna hena khana handori ba have question ama maduna forest kandori bra reserve forest kan bagi pot sei uji manipur udri example proper example udri jfm sembagi proper adugi maduna matho joint forest management and amlei mayam ji pulaga forest ngakmi na joint forest kano daga sidaisa chirau sing daga tawna khot ama khara thaina tagi yam su le have is a joint forest management joint forest management sina forest mayam si kalle manipur gi ngak sele haibagi khudam hujipokta di uba phangdri joint aduna reserve forest si masing mafam ji lauthoga kandoribra khanaba phadoribra natraga atopa mawongda akoi kanminnabagi atopa kari process legi have I think it's important to discuss adu highway one
I have a say, well, for example, let me put up a question. What if it is not declared as reserve forest today? What if we do not notify it as a reserve forest? In a year or so it will become reserve forest eventually. And we know that the level of degradation which is already happening and the level of anthropogenic pressure, we know day in and day out, we are living in 2024 and the level of anthropogenic pressure is too huge in a valley where we have a population close to half of the state. And one more issue is that he is talking about JFMC, I'll come to that later. I have perfect examples and evidence. For example, take for example Langol Reserve Forest. Akoi Langol Reserve Forest se chahi taragi mangda magi condition do adu unagaduni or hujiki condition do compare taguni. If you compare the condition of Langol Reserve Forest 10 years back and now, the answer lies in that. It is a reserve was declared long back. Yes, maybe there may be some issues with respect to the management of Langol reservoirs earlier. The last 10-15 years, we've been tightening and we have been enforcing laws and then we are making sure that this reservoir is conserved and there is a thick vegetation which is there in the entire length and corner of the Langol Reserve Forest. So that happened even beyond the anthropogenic pressure which is there, which I was mentioning in case of Heibok Ching also. So up and above this anthropogenic pressure, we will be able to deliver. The forest department could deliver that conservation is there only because it is the stature is reserve forest. If there is an unclassed forest without enforcement of law, this couldn't have been possible. And with respect to JFMCs, there are some lacunas in respect to the management of JFMCs, maybe because of the aspect of continuity. Funds who are after 1 year, 2 years, there is a discontinual of funds and all. So because of that, we could not support continuously a JFMC, a particular JFMC. But there are very around 30 to 40% of JFMC which I could see in my experience in Manipur, that they are performing very, very better. Yam Pajana the Tobok Midu I Kange, Hengangi, JFMC Orebra, Adugi, Langolgi, Lamdengi, JFMC Orebra. They have been conserving that forest and they have been getting benefits. They have been getting water resource from the hills which they have conserved. So that the evidences are there to suggest that the suggestion of the panel member is not 100% true.
Okay, laiba conditions sida khoi joint forest management gi plan mayam su leram bay adu hoji hoji laiba conditions sida di madu gi assessment madu da kairai bauda madu lauthok pasina madu kaya yamna protect togudrib na habagi adu ba sabsaba report to madi phambang amdri lauthok sei habino jariam jaibi ni lauthok pasi cabinet decision lawraga tawre habine adu sabsana madu gi forest ek putun fix tawre habati thingna du haba wahum duneba adun mar kanda masida kaya yamna kuina sangi ga doge adu masida kanana Maduki Nungai Tabala Kataki, Aduka Kanana Nungai Kataki happens in the government given at the Langaki, Masikum Bamatoba city, there is very good Haitare.
The motive for conversion of this revenue village into reserve forest or is it a politically motivated act decision or is it for the protection of the forest? Anisigi conflicts in every area because Heibok Ching everyone knows that it is a conflicting area for many communities. Aduga ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯀꯝꯃꯨꯅꯤꯇꯤ ꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯃ ꯂꯩ ꯁꯦ ꯐꯣꯔ ꯑꯦꯛꯖꯥꯝꯄꯜ ꯑꯟꯗ꯭ꯔꯣꯗ ꯀꯝꯃꯨꯅꯤꯇꯤ ꯐꯣꯔꯦꯁꯀꯤ ꯐꯖꯅ ꯌꯣꯛꯑꯒ ꯂꯩ ꯑꯗꯨꯒ ꯑꯦꯅꯤ ꯚꯤꯂꯦꯖ ꯀꯣ ꯑꯗꯒꯤ ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯗ ꯀꯔꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯑꯁꯤꯒꯤ ꯅꯪ ꯏꯁꯩ ꯌꯥꯝ ꯇꯧꯕ ꯃꯐꯝꯗꯣ ꯈꯨꯔꯈꯨꯜ ꯑꯁ꯭ꯋꯥꯏꯗ ꯆꯤꯡꯒꯤ ꯎꯌꯣꯛ ꯆꯤꯡ ꯂꯩ ꯀꯣ ꯁꯤꯒꯨꯝꯕ ꯃꯌꯥꯝ ꯑꯃ ꯌꯣꯛꯈꯠꯂꯤꯑꯕꯀꯣ
ꯀꯩꯅꯣꯗ
ꯍꯣꯏ ꯑꯗꯨꯃꯥꯏꯅ ꯌꯣꯛꯈꯠꯂꯤ ꯄ꯭ꯂꯁ Langol, when you compare Langol with this Heibok Ching, it is a different story because Langol doesn't have any, the conflicting area. There is no conflicting area in Langol side except for those encroacher and cutting trees and those. These are the problem in Langol. However, in this area, it is a different problem. It is not about cutting trees. It is not about something. It is about ownership and there is a kenaba khara adum laiye ani se. Aduna. Hujik yam fazanabudi haibi adi hekal lautu yen hekal tawdong nate. That's a very good thing because we need a lot of things to do. Aduna madugi level me amdu awareness me amdu conflict area du da tawba application duga conflict area da nattaba da tawba duga ani sigi modality se chap manana sa taragadi kind of projects here. I don't think that one project, one system, one law is applicable to all the area. Haibudenda. Aduna nasagi akoina kitang argument nate is a good program. Bisi otok pasi am pone argument nate. Tawudu we hena my partner wagi damakta mafam duda lady ba meeting duga hana awareness se hana sarba awareness create tawruba matungda keno si cabinet decision makna cabinet ki pano do lobby ramagadi adudana hena akoida satisfactory ama leigadra haidi soidana oirani haibagi akoida thajaba ama leigadra haibuduni da
yes e dapan mayam lakhada do hana madugi mayam do awareness pil ka mayam do wakal talaka na tawbo ergati mangom da hena yang sanghen ni haiba hom duni